So Ian, one last check.
Yep, I hear you clearly.
Okay, and we can hear you too. Great, thank you.
Yeah.
So Gail, I never got back to you about that Patricia Lane workshop.
Which one was that?
It was about communicating.
Right, it was good.
So I was just wondering if there was a,
Takeaway?
yeah, if you would sort of talk to anybody about it. And, you know, I'm kind of two minds because everybody's plate's pretty full as it is.
Everybody's what, sorry?
Everybody's plate's pretty full as it is. But also, I think, you know, if we thought there were valuable lessons about how we approach different groups.
There's always something good from these things. I think it could be said in a few words, probably.
Check, check, check. No, you should just use it yourself.
Hello.
Oh,
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I hear you. I hear you. And who am I speaking to?
It's John.
Hey, John. It's Ian.
Hi, Ian. Hi, Dan. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, John.
Oh, great. Hi, Jim. Can you hear me?
Those stupid cell phone calls.
Hi, Gail. Hi, Charlene.
Hi, Jim. Yeah.
So, Chris, I'm past it.
Hi, John. We can hear you.
Okay.
Do you mind changing your name from Diane to John?
I don't know how.
Good for you.
This is her computer. I don't want to screw it up for her.
Check, check, check. Giving this one to Chris.
Video. Here we go.
Ooh, we all get the microphones.
Microphone's on our switch. Do you want to try it?
Awesome. Okay. Test, test, test. Hello.
Hello, Chris.
Hi, Zoom people. Ian, John, and that's it.
And Char and Char.
Done.
We had a lot of trouble last week with the condenser mic I was using for the room. So I've got everyone with their own individual mic. And in future, everyone can bring their laptops and they can have their face instead of just the one big room. And I changed your name for you, John.
Okay, thank you.
That's sounding like a Dr. Seuss book.
So is it raining downtown?
A little bit.
Yeah. That's about the same out here.
I do remember the conversation. Yeah, I guess I could, I don't actually have Zoom on my phone. Yeah, I would have to just download it on the app, and I don't, no. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, that would be nice, right?
Yeah, it's too much. For this old
It's a
church.
lot. It's
Too much for this old church lady.
Yeah. You do such a great job of it.
Oh, look at you. You guys are family. So you can turn it off, but do a check from top. It's on right now. Go ahead and talk.
I've never used a microphone, I think, in my entire life, so this is a first.
Yeah, bro, way to go.
Oh, you sound great, Jim. Hey, I got a job for you. BBC's looking for a reporter in Port Alberni.
That's cool.
This is Jim Wright, CBC News in Port Alberni.
Where the water's rising.
They said 10 centimeters since 1990
Really?
is the average in the world is 10 centimeters, 4 inches.
Of?
Sea level rise since 1990
Oh.
That's
and accelerating.
Hmm.
Check. Go ahead and try it.
I won't be talking tonight.
Hey, Robert, I got a question for you. I'm wondering about or if somebody there knows for the Alberni Valley Transition Towns website, who does one talk to update? Because we're thinking with the gleaning to update the sort of wording for the coming season.
I can do that.
Okay. There's no hurry, but it's just knowing who the right person to talk to is. Thanks, Chris.
Yeah, no problem. I can update all that stuff. So
And the gleaning, Alberni Valley Gleaning domain is coming for renewal on July something. Do you know how that gets renewed?
I don't, but I'm willing to bet that Sarah probably knows. So I can probably get in touch with her and find out.
Okay.
I think right now, isn't it? It's just redirecting to our site now, and I think, right?
Yeah, which is perfect.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I would like it not to lapse,
yeah. Go away. Yeah, for sure.
but we have, again, lots of time to figure that out.
Yeah,
July's
I can
months
figure that out. Perfect. Well, it's 6:03, so we might as well get rolling, I guess. Are you okay, Char? I think we're all okay.
John and Ian, did you hear
Yes.
me say that you can go into gallery view to see everyone's pictures, or you can stay in speaker view to just see the room? Char's.
I'm good. Yeah, I have it so that I have everybody across the top and the room as sort of the main feature here.
Okay, and John, I missed pouring you a beer last time. I've got one ready for you tonight.
Okay, I'm just gonna really enjoy that one.
Awesome. Perfect. All right. Well, we'll call the meeting to order for 6:04, and I'll do the acknowledgement that we are on the unceded traditional territories of the Sishat and Hupachesit peoples and Nuu-chah-nulth speaking peoples that so graciously allow us to do our business and live and work and play in this area. I don't think we have any introductions to do tonight. There's nobody new, no new faces, so we're probably okay there. So under unfinished business and current topics, I should say I don't have a point for approving the agenda, but can I get a motion, or does anybody have, Dan has a motion to approve the agenda? Is there a seconder to approve?
Second, okay.
Many seconds. We'll say John. Any additions or modifications to the agenda? Anyone want to add anything? No? Okay. Great. Any objections to approving the agenda? Okay. Awesome. So the only thing I have in unfinished business is an update on the city OCP. Mostly I just put it there so that it reminded me to talk about it or to find out about it if anybody knew or had any updates about that. Does anybody want to share anything about that? Gail? Yeah, sure.
Just a little bit of news is that the contractor was ill, which is why we didn't have the second public input session. And Rob Dickinson is looking into that with Scott to figure out when our next input will be, but it is coming.
Well, that's good. So it didn't get permanently removed or anything.
No,
Okay.
Rob just indicated that there is often a problem with the process in terms of timeline of that, which is happening.
Awesome. Okay, great. That's cool. And you sent around a document today from, was it from Nanaimo? Yeah.
Yeah, Nanaimo food sustainability groups met on food security yesterday. It's called Forward Nanaimo, and they had 3 presenters and breakout rooms, and we talked about food security for that area. And it was mentioned again that we used to produce 75% of our food on Vancouver Island, and now it's down to 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And lots of room for improvement there.
Okay, that's great. And I think you sent it just to a couple of us, so I'll forward it to the list.
Yeah, I wasn't
So that
sure
it's-
where
yeah.
to send it. So
Yeah. I'll
Thanks,
split it up.
Chris. I appreciate getting that.
thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, I'll put it on the list tonight. Awesome. Anyone else? Any comments about the OCP process or anything? No. Okay. Upcoming events. I just have Fall Fair potentially in there. I don't know if there's any other. I couldn't think off the top of my head yesterday when I was hurriedly trying to get this done. Any other events between now and the Fall Fair?
Do we want to try to do anything in the Canada Day parade, like wave Canada flags?
Oh, right. Goodness, I totally forgot about the Canada Day Parade. Yeah, because we often do have a presence there. Is it happening?
I don't know.
Is the first question. Because there seems to be.
Sam Browning was.
Yeah, I think Sam was. Yeah, but
Chief's husband was.
yeah, I
I
think
don't know how involved.
I don't. Yeah, I don't know. Gail, yeah, go.
I was talking with Bonnie and Mike Rattan, and apparently it is going forward, and they're
Okay.
part of that committee.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
Okay. Well, I will be around for Canada Day, so I'd be happy to help get that going. What's people's feelings around? Anybody would like to be in the parade, or do we want to just have a booth that sometimes they have? Do they have booths at the end still? I guess it depends how they're running the parade this year, but we could potentially do a booth. But I think just walking through the parade, is that kind of what people are thinking?
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some kind of a presence within the parade anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, why don't we think about doing that? And I can get in touch with, maybe I'll get in touch with Mike and Bonnie to try to figure out who to talk to. Jim, did you have?
I was just going to say I'm boycotting Canada Day because of reconciliation for the foreseeable future. So I don't mind anybody else doing it, but I probably won't be involved.
Yep. That
Well,
makes,
my feeling, I respect that, Jim. My feeling is we should all be out there and we should each be holding a Canada flag in each hand so that we can normalize the use of the flag again, because it's kind of been some people within our society have absconded with the use of the flag, and they're using it for purposes that I don't totally agree with. If
Yeah.
you know what I mean.
yep. Okay, well, I'll get in touch with Mike and Bonnie, or maybe Sam, and just see where that is, and try to get our name in, and we'll have the banner at the very least, and see what else we can rustle up to have a presence at the parade. So that's good. So I'll lead that, I guess, and that'll be great. Next up, we have subgroups and reports, and the
We didn't
first
cover
is,
Fall Fair, Chris.
oh, sorry.
Fall Fair.
Oh, right, Fall Fair. I forgot about Fall Fair. Yeah, so I guess we don't usually start preparing for it until really June or July is kind of when the Fall Fair starts revving up. Is that right, Dan? Yeah. So, and I assume Ann Siddle is still the contact person?
As far as we know.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Well, now last year, why do I want to say we had 2 booths? Did we have 2 booths, or did we just have 1? Or did we have any? Yeah, virtual booth, yeah. Is it?
We were all there.
No, yeah, we were there.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was actually there. And I want to say we had 2 booths for some reason, and I can't remember why.
Well, we were representing Transition
Oh, right.
Town,
And we had
Nature Club,
yeah, we had
Ocean
Nature
Friendly. But
That's
it
right.
was only a Transition Town and the Nature Club
That's right.
that were visible, but there was about 4 groups represented.
That's right. The bike valet. Yeah. Right. Okay. Yeah. So, well, I mean, I don't think there's anything we need to do right away, but maybe just put your minds to a little bit about what can improve from last year. I know the weather was difficult last year. Whether we wanted it in the same place, I think the bike valet was really good there. Whether we want that space and a different space, maybe that's why I was thinking of 2 spaces inside of the building, or if we want to just have the 1 space that we had last year. Yeah, so put your minds to it, I suppose, and we'll.
Where was the space last year?
We were right in front, right when you walk in the main gates. Yeah, right outside the Van Imp building, that big entrance on the side of the barn there. We were right there, and then we had the bike valet beside us. So it was really, really good visibility, especially for the bike valet. We could probably have done a better job sort of having the Transition Town's name and whatnot out there so people actually knew what we were doing, because I don't think they necessarily all knew who we were when they were walking by. But yeah, it was a great spot for people, that's for sure. I'm sure it was the most people that we've ever had around the table, so that was good. And it was nice having the Nature Club there and giving them space for petitions and things, and that seemed to work out well. So yeah, so we'll have to think about whether we want it sort of 1 space either in that same location or elsewhere, or maybe 2 spaces. We have traditionally had a space in the main building, which we pay for, I believe, and then a space for the food group in the Van Iperen building is what we had in the past. So we've done that in the past as well. So
We did that a couple of years and we found out that it didn't produce great results.
no,
Being in the main building was
much better.
not.
I didn't hear what Dan said, sorry.
The general feeling was that being in the main building was not very productive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that it's almost better just to have a better presence in the Van Ypern building.
Yeah.
Especially if we're going to have the bike valet outside, that sort of makes it one contiguous area.
Yeah, I like the bike valet. That's huge in terms of awareness of bike transportation.
Yeah.
Could we advertise somehow the bike valet more so that people, know it's there?
Yeah. I
So
think
they bring their
that's one
bikes?
thing we can really do more of is advertising that bike valet for sure. And so if we do have that space outside, probably the biggest thing we want to figure out is how we can fortify it a little better from the weather. Maybe give ourselves a little more space so that we can shelter from the rain if it decides to rain on us, which it often does. But yeah, cool. Any other thoughts or questions about all fair?
But it's helpful to start thinking about it now. I appreciate you putting it on the agenda.
Cool. Okay, so we'll do the education and networking subgroup reports and things. We have First We Eat is the movie tonight. Yeah. Dan, anything more you want to say on that?
Well, I don't see Val's shining face here. And she knows more about it than the rest of us. Jim, you've already seen it, right? So we're just going to show it. And I don't think there needs to be much more said about it. It did get promoted fairly heavily online. I think mostly Jim's doing. And then John can speak to Fracking the Peace, which is happening Tuesday. And I'm working on some possibilities for next month. So that's the education report. Aside from John.
Yeah, well, this film, Fracking the Peace, is coming to us from the group Stand.Earth. No, just a minute. What is it? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is Stand.Earth. And they have it on tour, and they're going to be bringing the producer of the film to answer questions. And they're good enough to pay for the advertising, advertising in the newspaper and the venue at Char's Landing. And they actually would like to have one or two local people to participate in a bit of a panel discussion afterwards, because I think actually in addition to their producer, I think they're going to have another kind of a person that's affiliated with the group there. So we're going to have some firepower in terms of bringing, additional information about fracking, in the gas industry. And I would think there's a lot of questions about that whole issue, and what we should be doing about it, and, the issues around it. So if any of you would like to, maybe participate in a way on that panel, it would be good. I mean, you don't have to feel that, you have any special knowledge. I think just being a part of this community and having, rubbed shoulders with various people within the community, it kind of brings a local perspective, I think, to the discussion. So, but anyway, I guess, Jim, are you able to put some stuff on Facebook about this one too, or have you already?
No, I thought somebody else was doing it, but I can put it in all the places that I put.
Yeah. Okay.
This one.
If you need anything from me, let me know. I'm kind of having trouble accessing some of the stuff from their links and website. So I don't know, maybe you can help me. They've got some stuff for social media, so maybe you can figure out how to use it.
If you send me a link, I can probably crowbar some stuff out of there.
Okay, that's good, Dan. I'll send it to both you and Jim. That'd be good.
They actually did make a Facebook event, and I've put it on Char's landing page, and I shared it to Transition Town Group.
Great.
So maybe just look there and refer to it there and share it.
Thanks, Charlene. That's great.
John, would you like me to try and find some people for the panel, question panel?
If you can, that would be great. Yeah.
Okay, will do.
What time is it on Tuesday, John?
7 o'clock. The doors, Charlene's going to open the doors at 6:30 and.
Okay.
And
Yeah, I'd
yeah,
like.
it's interesting. I had my sister and brother-in-law here for the last week, and they have a farm, ranch type thing north of Calgary, about 60 miles, and they actually have had a gas well on their property for the last 20 years or so. And that thing was fracked at one time. And my sister was telling me that all their springs are starting to dry up, and they've always had water up until a few years ago. And fracking takes a huge amount of water.
Yeah.
What they were doing was the Little Red Deer River runs right on the edge of their property. And they were piping water out of the river. And once they take it out, it never comes back, because what they do is they shoot it way down underground, way below any aquifers, and it's gone forever. So it's a huge issue. I hope they talk about that in the video.
Well, that's really good. I might I'll try to get there, because I would really like to learn more about that too.
Yeah.
I was going to suggest that tonight, sorry, changing subjects but tonight at the meeting that we have a discussion halfway through the movie, because it's quite a long film. And I have a feeling that by 9 o'clock, there won't be much energy left for talking about it. So I'm going to promote that.
Char just shared that there's an ad for it in the paper, in today's paper. So
yeah, good.
So that's awesome. Great. I guess any ideas for next month meeting? Okay. All good. All good. Next up in our subgroups is food group. We had a meeting last week, just talking about future direction of the food group, to sort of hash things out and see how things are going. I think that it went really well, and we're sort of moving forward and figuring out how best to make the food group successful and ensure that we can support it in all kinds of ways. But any other comments or anything that, I think, Dan, did you send out the minutes for it?
From that meeting, I only sent the minutes.
Yeah, okay.
So Chris, I can sort of update on what the food group is up to, if that's helpful.
That's awesome, yeah.
So we met the food group on April 6th and April 13th. The next meeting is Monday, April 25th. Janice is taking the lead on hiring a food group manager. That's sort of our top priority, to have a paid person who can be the focal point for the group. The last person stepped down. We've had that void there, right? And in that void, we've been trying to sort of figure out about ourselves, because with Edna's dying, we just really had a void that was huge in terms of the group. And so you guys know that we hired Jeanette, and she worked for a few months putting together a report. And we've been digesting that report and seeing what's useful and what's not from our perspective. So again, Janice getting a person to, again, coordinate is what we're working on. And she is in the process of getting the job description finalized and advertising for a person, so that we can have somebody hopefully by mid to end May.
That's great.
The gleaning project, have, as you know, an application in for a summer student who can hopefully take the lead on that project. And we're looking to figure out planning for a place to store the equipment. And thank you, Rob, for keeping the equipment now until we can get a place and get that organized. And thank you for the answers to the questions around the website stuff. We have contracted with Tina Windsor, who's on the committee, to write an operations manual for us so that we can make it easier to onboard people and give them the information that they need in order to participate as members of the board and to onboard the Food Hub manager. Food RX is going ahead, and Anna is taking the lead on that. Grow Local is also something that we're working on. Candace is doing videos with Shaw and continuing to produce those. And there's some talk of reigniting the newsletter that has come out past years over the summer of tips for gardening and that sort of stuff. Heather and Anna have both become more active in coming to our food group meetings, and that has been really helpful in terms of providing more energy for the group. And they've also helped to recruit other members like Tina, who have stepped up and are able to get more things done. The other thing is, after our meeting on the 14th, I was thinking that it was something that we could probably do to fund director's insurance for the Alberni Valley Transition Town. So I put it on the agenda for Monday to talk about that and seeing if we can find money to fund that piece.
Well, that's great. Awesome. Well, thank you for that. That's an awesome update. And I'm just thinking for the position, if Janice is in need of any kind of help for getting the word out on social media or whatever, if you want to do it that way or whatever, I'm sure Transition Towns would be happy to put it on their website if or on the Facebook group or something like that if you want to put the job posting out there. But
Thank you.
Yeah.
Ian, it would be a big help if you could send me your notes on these things so I can get them into the minutes efficiently.
So Dan, I just scribbled them down before the meeting, but so would you like me to type them up and send them to you?
If you would, thank you.
Okay.
Awesome.
Can you wait until like the end of the weekend?
I'll just wait until they show up.
All right. Thank you, Dan.
Awesome. Okay. Any other questions or anything else from the food group? No. Okay. John, you sent a nice report on email on Cycle Alberni, but you want to summarize it here?
Sure. Okay. So we're starting to think about the Go by Bike week for the spring. And that's going to be, I believe it's May 30th to June 5th. And we did get another grant this year from Go by Bike BC. So that should cover, the lion's share of our expenses anyway. And I did put on the Transition Town email list this item about a safe passing campaign. That there's a motion being brought forward to the School Trustees Association of BC, I believe. And so what we're doing, if you go to this link that I sent you, then you can just hit the button and a letter will automatically be sent to all of our local school trustees with your name on it. And so that would be helpful. This is something that has been promoted for, I think, about the last year now by the BC Cycling Coalition. And they've decided to target the school trustees as well. And then the last item is that we got a grant from the BC Cycling Coalition, actually for $1,800 to start involving some of the older students, the high school, we were thinking initially grade 11 and 12, to help Candace with the bike education program in the elementary schools. And the idea is that a lot of these kids have to do volunteer hours. And we thought, well, we'll just pay them to come out and help us. Now, apparently, a lot of them have their volunteer hours completed already. And I understand that the grade 12 students are really busy with, a whole pile of things. So we're having trouble finding any students to work on this program. We're willing to pay them $18 an hour, and the hours are pretty flexible. So we've decided to lower the age to grade 10. So if there's any even grade 10 students who would like to earn some extra money just for going out and riding their bikes with a bunch of younger kids, it sounds like a pretty nice job to me. So if you know anybody grade 10 and up who you think might be interested in picking up some nice pay for going out, and first of all, we train them to help out with a professional trainer, and then they can help us with the program. Now, if we can't find these students, we're going to have to come up with some other way of spending this money, because I really hate to give it back. And they when they gave it to us, they said that we need to kind of keep in touch with them as to how the project is going, and if there's any changes, they might entertain some changing focus for the project. But I think we should try to get these students out for another couple of weeks, and if we can't get them, then we'll have to do some serious thinking about how to spend this money. Anyway, that's basically the report.
Yeah, just an update on that, John. Just got an email to the Planning 10 teachers to promote this with their classes. So hopefully you'll get some people. And I agree, if you haven't heard much in 2 weeks, definitely need an alternative plan.
Yeah. Okay, thanks, Ian. I've also got Colleen Brooks. I was talking to her today.
She's the one that sent the email out.
Pardon me?
She's the one that sent the email.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and she was going to make some announcements too on the PA system, I guess, for us. So
yeah.
Okay, that's great. Thanks, Ian.
That's awesome. Yeah, well, having a daughter in grade 12, if they're all as busy and overwhelmed by the last weeks of high school as Jade is, I'm sure, yeah, it's probably hard to rustle up a grade 12 right now, but hopefully it's easier for the 10s and 11s. Awesome. Well, that's great. And it's great. The Safe Passing campaign, I was asked by the BC Cycling Coalition that they have a committee called the Motor Vehicle Act Reform Committee, I think is what it's called. And they were like, Chris, as Go By Bike person, you should be on this. And I was like, oh, another committee. Okay. So I had a nice meeting with them yesterday, and they're pushing pretty hard on the Safe Passing campaign, which is great. They talked to Minister, or I guess she's Minister of State, Bowen Ma, about it not too long ago, and they've got a line on to Minister Fleming, Transport Minister. So they're going to talk to him in the coming days. So they're pushing pretty hard, and they're looking for sort of ways to get the message out there. They want to try to have something pretty concrete and hopeful for the fall sort of legislative session to get an actual change done. So that's exciting. So it'll be fun to be part of that and try to move that forward. But the school trustees, I actually contacted a couple of them here Larry Ransom and Rosemary Buchanan, and they seemed very open to it. So I can't imagine that there would be any opposition in the school trustees ranks. There's lots of concern out there for kids walking to school or riding their bike or whatever. I mean, a lot of places there are no sidewalks, so they're just walking on the side of the road. So whether you're walking or cycling or anything, safe passing is pretty important. So hopefully it's successful. It'd be great. Okay, so
Can I just throw one question to John? John?
Yeah.
Wondering whether anybody went to the City Traffic Advisory Committee today on the cycle side of things.
Yeah, I didn't even know about it, Ian. I'm sorry. I
Okay, no worries.
didn't get a notification. They must have put it out a long time ago.
good. Okay, next up is Ocean Friendly PA. Anything from Ocean Friendly these days? Yeah.
We're going to do a cleanup of the estuary on April 30th.
Awesome.
So I think we've got enough people to do it, but if anyone's really keen on helping out, you can be on the list.
Awesome. April 30th. So is that next weekend after next?
The weekend after this one, yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. That's great. Well, maybe, are you going to post on the Transition Town Facebook?
Well, actually, I think we're trying not to get a huge number of people. For one thing, like we don't have public liability insurance or anything like that.
Okay.
So we're trying to keep it to
Fairly low key.
physically fit people who probably won't fall over and sue us or anything like that. But I mean, if anybody here or anybody is enthusiastic about joining us, there's still room.
Awesome. Okay. That's great. That's great. I don't have any updates from the Watershed Vancouver Island Water Watch Coalition. No updates on the River Estuary Group, although I do, things have calmed down a little bit. I want to meet with the Port Authority and a few other groups to talk about that. Any other updates from affiliated groups, Climate Action, Alberni Climate Action, or the Nature Group, or anything?
The Nature Club is it's starting to have various kinds of events. There's a nature walk tomorrow morning at the Bird Street Ponds. There's every at the monthly meeting there's some kind of presentation, and we're taking on a lot of invasive species control in conjunction with the park supervisor.
Cool. I saw the email from Sandy about broom busting.
Yeah, broom busting and other ivy pulling, and
cool.
So there will be lots of opportunities if someone wants to be physically involved.
So just a question, Jim, about ivy pulling. What do you do with it after you pull it?
The landfill will take it.
Okay, so it doesn't matter if it continues to be invasive in the landfill then, hey?
They bury it in the
Yeah,
landfill. They don't
Yeah.
compost it. They bury it.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's the same with the blackberries though. They only take blackberries in with the garbage, so it gets buried.
Okay, that's good. I've got some, so I've got some ivy, and I actually saw a couple of big piles of ivy along just across the road from me here, and I thought, boy, that was pretty stupid of someone to throw it in the woods. It's just gonna take right off out there. So I may go and get it and put it in my garbage.
I believe it's free if you bring a big load to the landfill. I believe it's free to dump
I think it's $5 a load now.
Is it?
Yeah, regardless how big the load is.
Oh yeah, that might be.
That's the most recent thing they've charged me. Yeah, everywhere around Port Alberni, there's invasive species being dumped alongside ravines and at the end of logging roads and everywhere you go.
Yeah. Good. Alberni Climate Action Group. Anything?
Last meeting of Alberni Climate Action with Rob Dickinson, the city engineer, was just an incredible presentation on our wastewater systems in the valley. And because of that, and because of a link that Jim sent to a study involving coho and a substance called 6-ppd quinone, which is from car tires or any kind of tires, we're going to try and design a meeting with Rob Dickinson with the ACA group whereby we can discuss and learn about how to mitigate the runoff using urban nature systems. So we're going to get Amy Needham from Parks and Rec to work with Rob on that presentation for the next meeting of Alberni Climate Action, hopefully. And the other part of that, I'm not sure if Climate Circles goes with Alberni Climate Action or
Sure,
whatever,
why not?
but it's all part of the same thing. We're ready to start our second circle, but in the interim, there is an event making grocery bags out of recycled fabric from thrift stores, and that will happen this weekend on Saturday. We have enough volunteers for that already, and it goes together with a potential plastics petition to City Hall, which is tied in with a survey that we're doing on what percentage of grocery shoppers are using recycled bags and plastic bags. So we'll see how that goes.
Great.
So I'm curious, Gail, when you did the survey, how did you do it? Was it just an observation, or did you actually talk to the shoppers?
It was just, I sat in my car and waited for 20 minutes for each store on 2 separate occasions. So the next part would be to go and talk to people, but I'm not sure how to do that yet.
Yeah, well, I think what you've done so far is totally awesome. What an imaginative idea.
Thanks.
And I think it's really important data, you know, to be able to say, okay, this is where we're at right now, eh? Yeah.
I agree, and there's no problem if it's a rainy day just sitting there with the radio on or listening to a podcast or something and marking down who comes out of the store with what. So don't mind. But we do need people for outside of Echo Center for the plastic petition. We need to get that together when I get hold of Willa Thorpe on permission for that.
Yeah, I was just thinking today, what lousy weather we have right now. It's not that inviting of a thing to stand out in front of Echo and try to flag people down.
Yeah. Well, that's great. That's really great, you know, to observe kind of people coming and going, and it made me think. I was driving to work on, I want to say it was either Friday or Thursday last or Tuesday when I went back, but going through the news, there was a fellow on the side of the road, well, a couple people on the side of the road, right in the little pullout there, right at the lights at the news at the Petrocan. And they were counting electric cars. And they had a sign out and it said Electric Car Club of Vancouver Island or something, which I didn't know existed. And they were having a car count. So that was cool. But that sort of, you know, that data is really important to get that kind of, because, you know, people aren't getting that kind of data very often. So to have, you know, how many people are using actual bags in the grocery stores is great. And the grocery stores might be interested in knowing that. If they're, you know, if you have a contact with, or if you think that the manager or whoever might be amenable to knowing, it might be good to let them know.
Thanks. That's a great idea. And one other thing that I noticed was that No Frills comes out on top regarding use of reusables, which I didn't expect. So it might come in handy.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Well, and it's always good. So it's always good to tell them if they're the best. Everybody likes to hear that kind of thing.
Have other people heard that Walmart is going no plastic bag as of Earth Day?
Oh, really? Well, I did notice that they had a sign out in front of in their entrances there about bringing your own bag. So yeah, is that across Canada or?
Apparently, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, that's fantastic.
I went to the website that they had listed in their flyer a couple of weeks ago, and immediately underneath the announcement, there was people starting to make kind of derogatory comments about, Walmart. Oh, they're just trying to take advantage of Earth Day, and they're going to all have to do this anyway. But I think if they're the first ones that, there's nothing wrong with recognizing that. I did make a comment in those notes that I sent you, Gail. I think one argument that we have to be ready for is that when we ban plastic bags, people are going to say, well, what am I going to use for my garbage bag then? I'm just going to have to go out and buy plastic bags. And I think this is a bit of an issue. But I think my idea is that with organic composting, there's not a lot of wet garbage that needs to go into your actual garbage anymore. So we're at the point now where people could almost start using paper bags to collect their garbage in, because there's no reason to put anything wet in there, really.
Yeah, I think that's right. I mean, I tried to buy a variety of paper bags so I could replace plastic bags, and it's very difficult to find paper bags that will, substitute for plastic. And there's just, lunch bags and that's basically it. And if you want to, you can save the larger bags you get at takeout at the checkout. But other than that, it's very difficult to replace plastic with paper.
Yeah, you're almost better off because it's really hard to find paper bags of any size greater than a sandwich bag.
More people that asked for them, the
Yeah.
more likely they were going to be around.
I think it'd be a good idea to do a little campaign on that, because I mean, we know it's manufactured. It's just that it's not being sold at retail.
Yeah. Well, and the other portion of that too is to encourage people to use containers rather than bags at all. And then, if they're well-designed containers that can be washed out if there is something yucky in there, then do that. But for a lot of it, like the compost, they don't want any bags of any sort really in the compost if it's got any kind of plastic content whatsoever. You're really just expected to plop it all in there with just what you got. So maybe we can design some sort of nice hard plastic or hard wood container that people could put their garbage in and use that way. But great. Any other thoughts or anything about any of that? No. Okay. Next up is financial report, and thank you, Rob. You put out the report for today. I don't think we have to name off the numbers or anything. It's all on there. Posted on the website. Dan's already got it up, so that's all good. And last but not least, just new business and other things. Anyone have anything? Hi, Robert and Janice. Anyone have any other things before we wrap up? No? Okay. I think that's it. Cool. Well,
Thanks, everyone.
thank you, Ian and John. Have a great night.
Okay, yeah. I will say something else, since you've got about 10 minutes left before 7 o'clock. I did watch that.
Just kidding.
I did watch that that video that I sent the information around the other day. it actually, I had to pay 15 euros to watch it, which was the equivalent of $22. It was a personal story of a journalist who and filmmaker who really struggled with a lot of the issues of climate change. But the main takeaway at the end was that one of the most important things that we need to do is be prepared to rely on each other, in this struggle. I mean, we can take shorter showers and we can buy electric cars and we can write to our politicians, but it's really important for us to all be in this together. And for that reason, I want to really, kind of commend Gail and Jim on the climate circles, because I think that's a really good example of the kind of thing that we need to do a lot more of. And I keep thinking that I want to do something like that in my own neighborhood here, but I haven't found the time to get started yet. But anyway, just, if you're thinking climate, think community. I think that's one of the main things.
Cool. Great. Well, thanks, John.
Yeah.
All right. I think we're going to have a movie. There you go. First time in 2 and some years. So
Great. Thanks, guys. Have a nice evening.